A billionaire family's cruel insult to a CEO's mother sparks a fiery stand that torches a $900 million deal. Micah Johnson, a black CEO, walks away from a life-changing merger to defend his mother's honor, igniting a blaze of loyalty, dignity, and raw courage that shakes Chicago's elite and inspires the world. He doesn't wait to explain himself or calm things down. He cancels the deal right then and there, leaving everyone stunned, and walks his mother out with quiet dignity, knowing exactly what respect is worth. He wasn't the loud type. Micah Johnson had built his business from scratch, a tech company, focused on smart infrastructure for cities. Investors loved him because he delivered results without fanfare. The upcoming deal with the Barrington Group, a wealthy, old money family that owned a vast construction empire, was supposed to be the crown jewel. It would have meant bigger projects, international expansion, more jobs. Asterisk, his mother, Gloria, had always been his quiet anchor. She had raised him in a modest neighborhood, working 2 jobs, making sure he never missed a meal or a school assignment. Even when they barely scraped by, she insisted on manners and kindness. He often said she was the real reason for his success. So, when the Barringtons insisted on meeting him at one of their country clubs to finalize the handshake, he didn't think much of it. He asked his mother to come along. She didn't want to, saying she'd just slow things down, but he wouldn't hear it. "Mom, you're going to see what you made happen," he told her with a proud grin. They arrived at the country club then. The late afternoon, the sun casting warm light over manicured lawns and polished brass nameplates. Gloria wore her best outfit, a simple navy dress with a cream cardigan. She held onto her purse carefully and walked beside Micah with quiet pride. Inside, the Barrington family waited. Robert Barrington, the patriarch, was an imposing figure with a tailored suit and silver hair, surrounded by his 2 sons and daughter-in-law. They smiled politely at Micah, shook his hand firmly, and said all the right words, but Gloria noticed the glances. The way the younger Barrington whispered to his wife, eyes darting toward her. The slight shift in their posture. When the server asked if they wanted refreshments, the Barrington daughter-in-law's voice cut through, saying, "Just make sure she's careful with the upholstery." Micah heard it too. He turned slowly toward them, holding his mother's arm a little tighter. Gloria's eyes fell. She didn't say anything. She didn't want to make a scene. Robert cleared his throat. "So, Micah, let's get the business. Talk out of the way. These numbers are great, and we're prepared to sign today, pending your final approval." He gestured toward the contract folder on the table. Micah didn't move. He looked down at his mother, who was now clutching her purse tighter, her shoulders a little stooped. "Sir?" Robert asked again, blinking. Micah's voice was calm, but cold. "I heard what she said about my mother." Robert gave an uncomfortable smile. "I'm sure it was just a misunderstanding. Let's focus on the deal. We can sort any personal friction later." Micah shook his head. He looked at Gloria. She tried to give him a small smile, the kind that said, "Let it go." He couldn't. He turned back. "There's nothing to sort. We're done here." Silence fell across the room like a dropped glass. Robert's sons shifted uncomfortably. "Wait, you're not serious," one of them said. "I'm absolutely serious," Micah said. He closed the contract folder without even glancing inside. "Your family just disrespected the woman who made me. I won't give you a cent of my company's time or money." The daughter-in-law huffed. "Oh, come on, it was a joke." Micah raised his hand. "Stop. Don't talk to me." He turned to his mother. "Let's go." She hesitated, clearly embarrassed. But he gently took her arm, steady and patient, as if they were the only 2 people in the room. They walked out in complete silence. The Barringtons were stunned, frozen in their perfect chairs with untouched drinks. Micah and his mother stepped out into the parking lot. The sun was lower now, softer. Gloria's eyes glistened as she blinked, quickly trying to hold it in. "Micah," she said, voice trembling. "That was a lot of money." He smiled, but it was tight. "I know. You didn't have to do that for me." He stopped walking and turned to face her. "You're the reason I even had a seat at that table?" She shook her head. "I don't want you to lose this chance." He touched her arm. "Mom, if the price of success is letting people treat you like you don't matter, I don't want it." She sniffed, wiping her eyes with a tissue she pulled. From her little purse, "Thank you," she whispered. He nodded, swallowing hard. "Come on, let's go home." They got into his car, a modest black sedan despite his wealth. He didn't like showy things. As they drove away from the manicured grounds, Micah felt the anger in his chest slowly cool. He glanced at his mother, who stared out the window. Breathing deeply, she finally spoke. "You know, they'll talk about you. Let them," he said. "They'll say you're emotional." "Difficult, unprofessional," he smiled. "They'll be right." That made her laugh a little, even through tears. Back at home, he called his executive team. He didn't sugarcoat it. "They insulted my mother," he said plainly. "We're not doing business with them. I need everyone's help finding alternatives. Let's get creative. We'll make it work." There was a long pause, then one of his VPs spoke up. "Understood. I'll get the team started tonight." Another added, "I respect it, boss. We'll figure it out." He ended the call, exhaling. The house was quiet except for the old clock ticking in the hall. Gloria had gone to the kitchen to make tea, a habit she never dropped no matter how successful her son got. When she came back with 2 cups, she set one in front of him and sat. "You know," she said quietly, "you're too much like your father sometimes." Micah tilted his head. "Yeah?" She nodded. "Stubborn? Won't back down," he grinned. "Is that a complaint?" She looked at him over the rim of her cup. "No, it's just the truth." They sat in companionable silence, sipping tea, the tension from the afternoon slowly seeping away. The next morning, news of the deal's collapse started spreading in the business press. Reporters speculated wildly, but Micah refused to comment. He didn't need to justify himself. His staff knew, his mother knew. That was enough. Investors called, worried about lost revenue. He told them the same thing he told his team. Respect matters more than profit. Some threatened to pull out. He didn't beg them to stay. A few days later, a competitor reached out someone who had been on the fence about working with Micah's firm. They'd read about the cancellation. The competitor said he admired the stand. Talks began. Within months, the new partnership produced even better results than the Barrington deal promised. The company didn't just survive, it thrived. One night, Micah and Gloria sat on the porch watching dusk settle. She said softly, "I'm proud of you." He looked at her, quiet for a moment. "I'm proud of you too, Mom," she smiled. "You didn't have to do it." He shook his head. "I did." She reached over and patted his hand. "I know." They didn't say much after that. They didn't have to. What happened in that country club wasn't about money. It was about dignity. It was about knowing when to say enough. And in the end, it wasn't just a collapsed deal. It was a choice that defined who he was and who he refused to become. Share, comment, subscribe.